What's shaking, my friends? Luke Dancy here, and it is Wednesday. It is our live show day, and today we are joined by Mr. Nick Earl. Now, Nick is a young guy, but he's got a lot of talent. He also runs Got Magic, if you're familiar with that, Instagram Space and other places too. And he's with me today to talk all about the Views playing cards, and also some other decks of cards that he's worked on in the past, and some of the stuff that he's got coming up for you guys in the future too. So I want to say hello to everyone out there that's watching, and I also want to bring in the guy himself, Mr. Nick Earl. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Luke, and hello to everyone.
It is good to have you here, sir. And I am going to quickly put this out on Instagram as a story so our friends there can swipe up and catch us too. So while I do that, why don't you give the guys a little background on who you are, where you're from, and exactly what it is that you do.
All right, so I'm Nick Earl. I'm from Laguna Beach, California, Orange County, and I run a company called Got Magic. I started Got Magic 2 years ago, and I try to do really interesting, kind of unique designs. One of the first decks I did was the Mondrian, some of you might know. And one of my latest releases is the Views playing cards, which I have right here. So with this deck, it's kind of an optical illusion design. So it kind of shifts when you're doing cardistry and things like that. And it kind of has this motion to the deck. Oh, the hair is amazing. I saw that comment.
I knew someone was going to say that. I had a feeling that was coming, yeah.
All right. So any questions on the deck?
So there's going to be a lot of stuff I know, not just about the decks themselves, but also when it comes to designing playing cards in general too. That's always a big thing that people want to know about. They think it's this big intimidating thing. I had a chance to talk with David Kohler, another young guy that produced a deck of cards, the Wonder playing cards, and a lot of good questions about that stuff too. The first person's asking about hair products. What is that all about? Hair products.
People are more interested in my hair than the cards.
Come on, it's not why we're here. So the Views, though, it's a deck of cards that has a very unique design, has that kind of optical illusion kind of thing going on. Because when you look at it, it's kind of a busy design and has some stuff. Is there anything that inspired that, design in particular? Because it is such a eye-catching design. Is that part of the reason why you did it, because of that, or was it something else that you saw and you went, man, I want to put that on a deck of cards?
So I saw this design. The designer is Yves Cronball, and he has nothing to do with the playing card industry at all, and it's first time hearing about it. But I saw the design, and I thought that would be really interesting to put on a deck of cards, because it's like there's so much motion to it, and you're not only getting the motion from the cardistry, but also from the back design and the different dots along it. So a lot of people don't know if you've seen the picture, but it has this kind of mint undertone is what I call it. So it kind of creates this dimension to the dots and allows it to create that illusion. That can also be seen on the box. I have a uncut one right here. So you can kind of see this kind of, we're doing this illusion where you're just kind of, your mind fills in the gap. So it's not the whole word views, and your mind kind of fills in that illusion side of it.
Love it, love it, love it. I love that you have the tuck there as well, the one that's not put together. I love having stuff like that around that no one else has. It's kind of fun.
And then the box is right here. So it has 3 different foils on it and embossing. It has the white, mint, and gold foil, and then this really nice thick black paper. So it's a really durable deck. I have a lot of people saying it lasts them a long time. People that give them early, and they still use that same deck. It's a great deck for cardistry, really durable. They're printed on a crushed B stock, so really good handling, easy to break in.
A lot of people love that the touch that comes with that deck. The stock is the word I was looking for. Yeah. And people are also saying the feel of this deck, is it like bicycle or is it unique? So most people that have handled a bicycle deck of cards, how would you describe how these feel? I think that that's a great example to use, because everyone's, like I said, used bicycle playing cards. But what about these? How do they feel compared to that?
So it's actually not even a bicycle stock. So it's a B stock. So this is the higher grade stock. It's a much higher quality stock. And then it's also crushed. So they're really thin. It's a lot thinner than your normal deck of cards. You might have seen this on other decks. It's a really thin stock, so you're able to break it in, but it's also stays firm. So it's a really good stock for springs, cuts, pretty much everything, and it's going to last you a long time, which I really like.
Sweet. And that's what's important too. A lot of people want to know, well, how long are these going to last? I mean, that of course comes down to how much do you beat them up? How much do you use them? And we can't answer that 100%. But that's something that a lot of people always want to know. You know, people are asking about, you know, get the idea for this deck. How did you do that? But more importantly for me, just back up before that, how did you even get interested in playing cards like you are now? And what was it that kind of made you want to dive into this world and start producing decks and working with people that do designs and stuff like that? Because it's a very popular industry. But you mentioned to me before we talked that you don't even really consider yourself a cardist or a magician. You just kind of like everything. So what made you kind of like playing cards specifically?
I've been doing Magic for around 10 years. I haven't really practiced a whole lot, but I really like the whole product side of it, the marketing side, the different gimmicks and all the different things. I always purchase all the new things that came out. And when playing cards started coming with more designs, and I thought it was like a really interesting market, I started selling the decks and seeing that this was a really interesting industry. And I was like, I want to make my own deck of cards, and that's where the Mondrian came in. I always loved the artwork with Mondrian, so that's how I created that deck. But I'm more into the side of creating products that are really high quality that people are going to love, and it kind of helps with my background in Magic too, because I feel like I know kind of what people would want and what I would want, so it kind of helps with that.
Love it. That's cool. Someone's asking a specific question. That is the back pattern marked? Is there any markings with this deck? Something that maybe people know about or don't know about when it comes to the views?
So there's no markings on the back design, but it is a one-way back. So what you're able to do is you're actually able to flip through it, and when you see the discrepancy, you can actually locate a card. But it also creates for a really cool illusion. I don't know if it will show up on the camera, but if you flip through the cards, it kind of creates this motion through the cards that can be seen even just looking at the one card.
That's cool. That kind of reminds me a little bit about the mechanic deck, where you get that kind of animation stuff going when you riffle the deck. I like that.
Exactly,
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Here's some good question from someone over on YouTube. This is Nigel. Nigel wants to know, how did you go about funding your first deck to production? And that's always a question people ask, because to produce a deck isn't a cheap thing out of pocket. So when you started to dive into that, how did you first start that process? That, okay, I want to do a deck. Well, here's what I need to do to start. What was that process for you?
The process, it's an interesting question. There's so many, it's not exactly about the funding, because there's so many resources. There's Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and that's what I love. Like, you look at people like Zach Miller that did the Fontaine brand. Yep. He did the first deck, which was the Reds, and you could really create any deck you want. And me, I have a terrible design background. I'm terrible at design. Like, for the idea with the Mondrian, this is one of the original sketches. It's with crayons, and you just have fun with it. Have fun with the process. You'll create a better product. And that's what I really love about it. The process can seem intimidating because there's this really high cost to produce a deck. But if you look beyond that and just start creating something that people will love, and you could do Kickstarter, you can have friends that maybe will loan you the money. It just start with the design, and that stuff will come later, and it will come.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I mean, you're right. There are a lot of resources out there these days. I know when I spoke with David Kohler as well, he mentioned, Instagram's a great platform for people too to get, there's a whole community of people out there that love playing cards and design and things like that. And the collectors are out there too. There's this whole world of people that love playing cards now. A good question coming in from Micah on YouTube. He wants to know, why did you name them views? That's a good question. I'm actually wondering that myself, because I did ask you some questions before we talked, but I did not ask you that. So where did the name views come from? Was it the design, or was it the combination of you guys together? Like, where did that come from, the name?
So the views name actually was before it even became into a deck, when it was originally just a graphic design project. Okay. So he called the project Views. because originally you could see words if the card was held far away. With right now, there's
cool.
about 10 dots that you can see if you hold it farther away, and that's kind of the thing. It's this views. It's kind of the different views that you can see from different angles and stuff like that. Even I notice new things every day when I handle this deck, and you look at it from one way right here. If you look at it this way, it's a really interesting deck. Cool. When you actually hold it, it looks different than the pictures, but once you actually start to hold it, you'll start to notice really different kind of ways to view it.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Love it. That's cool. In the trailer, you had some guys doing some kick-ass stuff. Who were the people that were showing up in the trailer of the views? Because I want to make sure they get a shout out too, because there was some amazing skill in those trailers that you had.
So Daniel Buck with Dan and Dave, and then Paul Robai were both in the video. And then also Anna de Guzman, I had some Instagram contact, and they were really amazing people. And then also Edgar from Mexico did the trailer, which won the cardistry con competition. Some really incredible cardists.
Sick, yeah.
Thing.
It's amazing to me that, you know, with Magic, people always have assumed that talent and skill comes with age. You have to kind of grow into it. But with cardistry, I swear, man, it seems like the people that are really, really good at it keep getting younger. It's like the people that can handle a deck of cards like it's just nothing. They get younger and younger and younger, and it's a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. It's just crazy that people that aren't even teenagers yet are able to run circles around people like me.
It's amazing. I've held jams in LA, and I'll have people come out, and there's like 10-year-olds that are incredible. Probably the best cardistry I've ever seen, and this is like, wow. And it's really cool to see your product being handled by all these people, and like you see things that you don't even see when you were designing it.
Yep. Yeah. There's a kid, I think his name is Gideon. He's in California. His dad was a magician. I remember seeing Gideon at a Magic, I think it was Magic Live. This kid was maybe 10, 11, and he was doing like pharaohs, one-handed pharaohs. It's just, and cardistry stuff. It's just crazy. I can't wait to see where he is 10 years from now. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Guy on YouTube, Philly P, wants to know any possible creations coming in the near future. Now, I know we were going to tee that up more towards the end of this, but I guess, do you have more stuff? And then if you want to give some sneak peeks a little bit, maybe in about the next 10 minutes, we'll actually show some stuff if you do have some new creations, any new decks or designs you want to show off. But easy question, new stuff coming? Yes, no, maybe.
So I can confirm that there are already 5 decks that have been printed that are not released yet. You don't even know about. A couple of them I'm going to show on here, so definitely stay on here.
All right, cool. So in about 10 minutes, we will show some of the new designs you guys will be able to get your hands on. Very excited to have those here first to show you. We've got some exclusive stuff we'll be working on with Nick too, so we're very excited about that too. And you know, Warlock here on YouTube is also saying cardistry is growing, and it is a really cool thing because, you know, again, we were talking, Nick, before this, and you know, we were kind of talking together that isn't it interesting that with cardistry you don't have to protect the secrets, you know, you can just share it because it's a skill-based thing, whereas Magic, we have to be more careful on who knows what at the end of the day. But the community is exploding, and as someone that's in that world, that lives in that world, and you're, you know, friends with a lot of these people, can you give us a little, you know, insight into what we can expect maybe in the future with the cardistry movement, because it really is a movement, and sometimes I see it going mainstream too, which is really cool. But where do you see this stuff going, you know, as the years go on here? Curious.
I kind of include the cardistry industry within the Magic community because I think it's like so involved, and it's becoming such a large part of it. But the cardistry community is like, it's a very young, fun, like industry, because like when I went to Cardistry Con, I was really able to see the community that is there. It's like there was probably 100 people, and we're all doing the same thing, and people will sit down with you, show you how to do it. People love showing you cardistry and want to teach you. I think it's an awesome industry, and there's so many YouTube videos, a lot of people sharing on Instagram. Instagram is probably one of the #1 ways to communicate with other cardists. And
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's definitely it's definitely cool, and you'll see people interacting. How did you do that? And they'll teach each other. It is really cool.
No, that's definitely the place these days, isn't it? For either cardistry, that type of stuff, or even just visual magic. People are all just showing stuff, and it's nice to see the magic continue to evolve too.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of keeping up with that when it comes to the visual nature of it. Here's a good question from someone on YouTube. How do you get the knack? How do you just get the knack for cardistry? I just want to be better or get better and be like the mental cardist on the internet. You know, neither one of us, we've both admitted, neither one of us are tremendous cardists. So I'm going to step back and go, I'm probably not the right person to answer that specific question. I have some thoughts, but Nick, what do you think about people that want to kind of get that knack for cardistry? What should they do? What should they focus on if they really want to get better at that type of stuff?
It's all practice. The reason I'm not good with cardistry is I do not practice at all.
Well, you're in college, you're running a company.
I carry a deck of cards with me everywhere, and that's my practice. Oh. And I never really watched the tutorials or anything, but you kind of become good with the cards. I think I'm pretty good with cards, but sure. There's so many free resources. Like on YouTube, you can learn the cardistry, but it's all practice. None of the people were born just great with cards. It's all sure. Crazy practice. Like, I think Dan Buck told me that he would practice like 10 hours a day. It's like crazy, but there's that payoff where you get to show other people and express your creativity through this art form, which is like juggling. And that's what's awesome. I love cardistry because you only need a deck of cards to perform this like cool kind of art form. And even when I'm showing magic to lay people or just doing cardistry lay people, it's a really cool art form because you're able to show these motion with the cards. It's like a form of juggling.
Yeah, that's definitely a word that gets thrown in there. Do cardists take that? Do they take offense to that? And it's an honest question. Do people that do cardistry and take it very serious, do they take offense to when people call it basically, you know, juggling? You know, with the deck. I
sure hope not, because it really is juggling. It's juggling cards. If anything, they should be proud of it because juggling is hard and cardistry is even harder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny, actually. If you go to a magic convention, a lot of times they'll have a juggler on the big stage show, you know, at the end of the big convention shows. And they're usually the ones that get the standing O's. You know, they're the ones that get the, because it's a different thing. Juggling is a huge skill. So just curious about that. Let's see here. Someone says you've been doing the worm for like 20 times now. Have you been doing the worm over there? Is that what you're doing?
I have been doing the worm. It's like really the only thing I know how to do, but I really love it. And like symbol cuts, and that's really all my cardistry is too. And then the fan, but I love it. It keeps your hands busy. I'm someone that has like crazy ADHD, and it's like this is my medicine.
Here's a good question. What is the problem that came into producing your own card? This again comes from our friend Warlock over on YouTube. What were the tough spots, or maybe there are still things that pop up when it comes to producing decks? What are some of the challenges that come with that process? Because you are one of the few people that's out there that's actually done this stuff. So it's kind of hard to learn what happens if you never do it. So what's some of the stuff that's happened along the way for you?
It definitely is a process. You're dealing with manufacturing, a lot of different people, and there's a lot of different moving parts to producing a deck of cards. So you definitely will. Like the Mondrian, luckily I was able to print that deck before people even knew about it, so I was able to get the kinks worked out before. But some other problems that I've seen with people that have also produced decks of cards is like Kickstarters failing or decks not arriving. These are all things that like can happen, and just don't let it discourage you, but empower you to try better, even harder the next time. It's there's going to be problems with everything, and luckily like this industry, there's very understanding people like Chris Ramsey with his deck. There's like delays and stuff, but people are it's all about the community encouraging you and just like trying better and learning from the problems that you encounter, and it'll make you even better.
Yeah, love that. Love it. Very wise advice from someone that's only 18. Someone else said one of the things to get used to with cardistry, and I have done this myself with the little that I do, is get used to the cards falling. Get used to dropping them and all that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a big thing. Here's an interesting question from Nigel. He wants to know, are there any decks out there that you wish that you had produced, or maybe some designs that you went, man, I wish I'd done that?
There's definitely some designs that are like very cool. Like, wow, that is a cool idea. Like I like the checkerboard by anyone. That's an idea I had, but they did it first. It's a really cool deck of cards. I also like the dots. I didn't like them at first, but now that I'm starting to like them, because you can do things where you do like an Earn exchange and see the dot pop over the other side, and so that's a really cool concept.
Yeah. To go with that, Farouk is asking as well, do you have a favorite deck that's not yours? That might be the same question, just worded different, but do you have a favorite deck that's not yours, or was it one of the two that you just mentioned?
There's two that I probably really like, and that's one is the original Memento Mori. I love that deck, which is available from Murphy's Magic and all the retailers. Very great deck and affordable too. And I also love Cherry playing cards.
Oh yeah, dude, those are sweet, huh?
Yeah, I'm good friends with Derek, and I love all the cherries, all the ones that have come out here. I have one right here, the original one. I love them.
Oh yeah, those were the first ones that really came out with the really nice crushed paper, weren't they? The really nice. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I also like this other question. How do I get the money to buy cards? Now,
all right.
I'm kind of going against what the industry should tell you, which is to buy the expensive cards, but you do not need expensive cards. You can go to Costco and pick up a $12 pack of 12 decks of cards, which are like $1 a deck. And that's how you can get started, and maybe you'll make some money doing gigs and things like that. You do not need whole lot of money to buy cards. These can be expensive. I guess they're $15, but it's all you can find cards. Just enjoy it. Don't let it be the products that guide your talent.
Well said. You're full of wisdom over there, aren't you? Love it. What was the favorite deck? How do I get the how do I get the money? I just saw that one pop up too. That's funny. So why don't we go ahead and jump into what some of the stuff people can expect from you in the future. We've got we've got some people watching now, but we'll have a whole lot more people watching later. Not everyone can join us live, but what are some of the new designs that you've got that we can kind of tease the guys with a little bit? Because I'm excited to see these too. Yeah.
All right, so there's one coming up in March, which is when my first deck was released. So there may or may not be a Mondrian coming out then, but another one I can confirm is the first time anyone has really seen this is the Jazz Stripes, which is releasing in April. So this is one of my newest decks. This is printed by Cardamundi, and it's the first time, I believe, as far as I know, that someone has did an upwards cigarette style tuck.
So cool.
Yeah, the first time I brought them out, people are like, "Those are the coolest cigarettes." I'm like, "They're playing cards." So they have
a different addiction. A different addiction.
Yeah, there you go. So it has this UV spot gloss over the actual cup design. That's where you probably have seen it. And then I have the cigarette style tuck, and then the cards have the design, which is a two-way design. It flows really good with the cardistry. I know I'm gonna do the worm again and piss some people off, but I really like the edgeless design, and it kind of bleeds off.
Nice, very nice. Someone's asking about price point. Do you have a price point on those yet, or are you still trying to figure all that out?
This deck is going to cost $14.97, like the most of my other decks, around $15.
Okay, that's fair. And I think that's something else. Let's touch on really quick. Is that if you want to have more features, and I'm speaking out of my ass here, so if I'm totally off base here, feel free to jump in. But the more features that people want with the deck, the more it costs you as the designer or the producer to actually make the cards and to do all this stuff. So yeah, I want to talk about that for a moment, as kind of justifying price points as, well, people want more, it's going to cost a little more. Isn't that kind of how it all works?
Yeah, like every deck I release, there'll always be at least one person that says $15, what? Yeah. But what you're not seeing here is there's actually a lot of costs that go into this, and I try to really push at every detail that I can into here. So with this deck, this is a new paper I'm using on all my decks. It's called Plague, so it's actually a synthetic paper that's extremely durable. These last a super long time. The edges aren't going to wear as fast. They're not going to break down. They're super thick. This is really thick paper. And then also the spot gloss, foiling, all these different features. This is a totally custom tuck that we probably did 20 different die lines just to get it perfect. So I try to keep everything perfect. And with the Views deck, that's another one that has 3 different foils. So there's a lot of costs that go into it. Mm-hmm. which I hope justify the price point that it's at.
Well, yeah, I mean, as the demand becomes more and more for playing cards, as we talked earlier too, you can only do so much with a design. To add the foil and all these other things, it's not something that you just go, okay, playing card producer, I want to do this, and they're not going to go, okay, yeah, no, it's going to cost you this much more to do it. Like to have more features, to have more sex appeal to the deck, it's going to cost a little bit more money for you, is the guy that's trying to get them produced. So I think that's something people do miss when it comes to decks of cards. Go, well, why are they cost this? Well, if you don't want all this cool stuff, if you don't want the cards to continue to get better with the designs and the features, well then don't pay the money, but you're not going to get the good stuff. Because
I really do try to push the limit. Like with Clove Street, it's like everyone always says, like, gee, you must have like money burning a hole in your pocket. It's like, no, I really like to put a ton of money into the deck. I always do the highest quality paper, super crazy quality control, and it's really a quality deck, super sharp edges. So in my opinion, I think it does justify the $15 price point.
No, I agree, man. I mean, it's just like anything in life. I mean, if you want good stuff, you got to pay for it. If you want to if you want a regular deck of cards, go buy a regular deck of cards. But if you want something that's a little bit nicer, you got to pony up a little bit more. But it's all good. Someone says they really like your thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I'm in that boat too. Are those custom court cards? I think you're talking about the stripes you're just showing. I don't know if you want to show any specifics with the fronts, but are there custom court cards there?
All right, so I'll show both. The views for sure have custom courts, but I'll show you the courts on the actual jazz stripes is what they're called. So they have the custom modified colors with the Pantone colors. So it's that really bright blue. All the colors have been modified in the deck to kind of have that integrate. And I wanted to do standard faces on this deck because I wanted it to be something that's usable for Magic and really any deck for that matter. And let me see if I have a Joker here. And then, of course, a custom Joker. This is Cardamundi's original Joker, but it's been modified.
So sweet, man.
And I actually noticed this. I didn't even notice it, but there's actually 3 reveals in the Joker. And then so then he's holding a cup as well.
Cool. Very cool.
And then custom Ace, of course. And then the Views deck are definitely custom. So these actually have the Pantone metallic ink, which kind of looks like there's actually foil on the cards, but it's 100% custom. All the pips, hearts, everything is custom on this deck. And the Ace.
Oh yeah, there it is. I love that's. I really like the simplicity of that one, because sometimes you see a design, and to me anyway, too much is too much. You know what I mean? I like that Ace a lot. I've seen that one before, and I really like the simplicity of it because it goes with the whole theme of the deck, though. I really like that one.
Yeah. With the views, I try to keep it as simple as possible so it can be used for both cardistry and Magic alike. So the court cards I try to keep standard, but they're also like modified, so they are custom, but you can still be very easy to read. They got those great gold color on them.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot of other stuff, as you can see with Nick, and we want to do more with him as well. He is obviously, as you guys have noticed, one of the good guys out there that's got a good head on his shoulders and really wants to bring you guys a good quality product too. And that does matter at the end of the day, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to team up with someone like Nick, because anybody can throw down a design, but to do it the right way and to put in the time, to do those extra little things, it's what sets people apart. Thank
you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I mean it's true, man. And I had no idea you were 18 when we were going into this. I figured you were a little bit older than that, but yeah, that's pretty impressive that you got a good head on your shoulders like that. And you also do run a company. You've got Magic. I know that I think the main focus is there's a lot of playing cards on there, but you are starting to drop Magic on there too, right? There is some on there now, but
it's the majority is playing cards, but I do have plans for the actual Magic side of that, maybe some custom products or doing an actual Magic line, but it's mostly cool. I'm focused mostly on the playing cards right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you can't do everything at a certain level, so do one thing and then jump into the next thing. I like that mentality too.
Thank you.
My buddy Andrew is saying hello to you. He says, "How are you?" I'm the Magic of Me on Instagram. He's
Hi, Andrew.
Check him out over there. So that is cool. So we've got a couple minutes left here. We're at the 30-minute mark. I told you we go about half an hour, but did you have anything else you wanted to mention, whether it's about the decks that you've got or decks coming up, or about the design process or anything to do with that? I want to make sure that you have a chance to kind of get through everything that you want to talk about. We can always talk again. I think we are going to do an Instagram live chat too at some point.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that you want to kind of share when it comes to any of these things we've been chatting about?
With the design process, it can be very, very intimidating at first because design is super complicated. Like Illustrator is such a program to run, but I don't know how to use it even still. But it doesn't matter. It starts with a sketch. There's like so many resources out there. You can contact designers. Even Murphy's Magic, I've seen contact people to produce their decks. So it's like start with an idea, sketch it down, and talk with the designers, and that's how you can really start. There's great people with like the United States Playing Card Company that will help you. It's such an awesome, loving, I like to say loving, it's an awesome, loving community because they really want to help you. Everyone wants to help you in this industry.
That's true, and that's a very good point. I like that there's a community angle to it because sometimes in Magic, you see people that just, it's cutthroat. It's weird. There's, you know, there are good people too. Don't get me wrong, but it's unfortunate. So it's good to hear that there's a good supportive group there too. So here is a question. We'll take one more question because this one is about Magic too. I want to make sure that we do get a little bit of Magic out of you too. Not views related, but what's your go-to trick? Farouk wants to know, do you have a go-to trick or do you have a favorite trick that you like to perform?
Of course I have a go-to trick. It's the ambitious routine. And it's probably one of the most basic tricks, but will probably get me a better reaction than your long thought out trick. I like to do really fast color changes and stuff like that at restaurants. Whenever I like to just show Magic to people, and that's definitely my go-to trick. And also a key card, which is also really basic, but all my go-to tricks, I like basic, fast, fun stuff.
That's cool. I mean, that stuff works. The reactions speak for themselves at the end of the day, don't they? So who cares what magicians think? That's what I say. Yeah, so Micah is asking if there's a giveaway. Micah, we're not doing a specific giveaway with Nick, but we are doing 2 giveaways right now. I will recap those once we wrap up the interview in just a minute. We're doing a giveaway here on YouTube and also on our Instagram page, but I'll tell you about that in just a sec. So Nick, I like to do this for every person that comes on as we wrap this up. The floor is yours to promote what you're up to, where they can find out more about you, whether it's your social media stuff or whether it is your website, things like that. So also, if there's anywhere people can see you, any conventions coming up that you might be at, things like that, where can people find out more about Nick Earl or keep up with what you are up to, sir?
All right, so Instagram is probably my #1 way of keeping up with what I'm doing. My personal page is nick.earl, E-A-R-L. And then my company page is just Got Magic. And then all the products I try to keep updated on gotmagic.com as well. As far as conventions goes, I'm always in Orange County going to the Magic Jams. And then I'm probably going to go to Magic Live as well. So I'll look forward to that. I'm always open to meet anyone. If anyone comes in LA, I'll come and meet you.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we are going to be looking forward to seeing more stuff from Nick. We may, like I said, jump on Instagram here maybe later this week, depending on his availability, or maybe next week, up to him whenever he wants to do it. But we'll try to do that too. There's a whole other group of people, I'm sure, that live on Instagram. It's weird, isn't it, how you have some people that just do YouTube, some people that just do Instagram, some people that just do Facebook. So we want to make sure everyone gets to know about you. So guys, make sure you do keep up with us over there, and have a feeling we'll be seeing Nick pop up with us sometime soon too. So Nick, I want to thank you for your time, my friend. I'll wrap up with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
After we're done with this, and thank you, sir. And we hope to see you again soon. I can't wait to see those cards. Can't wait to get my hands on some of those cards, man.
Of course. Can't wait to get them in your hands.
Sounds good. All right, bud. Catch you later.
All right. See ya.
All right, my friends, there you have it. A really fun chat with Nick Earl. He obviously has got a great head on his shoulders. I said that before, and it is true. It's nice when you see someone that's that age, has a lot of talent and a lot of just smarts. He's got a lot of smarts going on there. So thanks to him for popping on. I do want to wrap up real quick by letting you know we are doing 2 giveaways at this point. The winner for our YouTube contest will be announced tomorrow. That's Thursday, February 1st, over on our YouTube video of the live Q&A I did with Brandon David and Chris Turchi all about the Project Swiss Army. We're giving away 2 copies of that, so if you want to have a chance to win that, head over there, look at the video description. It has all the details on how you can win a free copy of that. And right now on our Instagram page at Murphy's Magic, you can see below, I've got the link down there, or our account name. Check us out at Murphy's Magic. We are giving away a deck of cards for you and a friend. We posted that up yesterday. It is the picture of all the decks stacked up. There's 2 things you have to do on that post. You have to like the post and you have to tag a friend. Tag the friend that loves playing cards as much as you do, and we'll choose someone at random to give them the deck and their friend a deck as well. It's that easy. All right, so that is what's going on with our giveaways, and we have some really big stuff coming up in February. We have a lot of magic we'll be giving away because Murphy's Magic is celebrating 20 years of business. 20 years we've been doing this stuff. So we're going to be doing a huge thing for you guys during the month of February. We'll be doing giveaways on all of our socials, so stay tuned for everywhere that we are, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter even. We'll be doing giveaways throughout the whole month of February. Magic products, decks of cards, a lot of really fun stuff. I'll be doing a video for you guys soon with all the details on how you can win some stuff. I'm excited to bring this to you, and we are very excited to celebrate 20 years of business. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so keep an eye out the month of February. That is it from me, my friends. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks again to Mr. Nick Earl for hanging out with me, answering your questions, guys, answering my questions, and showing us some of the new stuff that is coming out too. So that's it for me this week. We'll be back again next week. Got more magic stuff to tell you about. I may have an interview popping up next week. I know Mr. Minnie Lindenfield's going to be joining me sometime soon to be talking about his new release, so stay tuned for that too. So that's it for us today. We will be back again soon. Thanks for hanging out with us, and like I said before, we will do it all over again. Don't forget to keep up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to us right here on YouTube if you haven't yet. We're posting lots and lots of great new magic stuff all of the time. All right, guys. My name is Luke Dancy. I'm out of here.